Hello, I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you about our work on green growth and development and its connection with climate change. We work from the basic belief that green growth is not just desirable, it's possible. Economic growth leads to poverty reduction, but the environmental, economic and social aspects of growth must be beneficial to all. Last year, we helped many countries as they turned this idea of green growth into development reality. We worked with people and governments to provide clean drinking water, safe roads, modern electricity and telecommunications. We worked with countries to improve agricultural productivity and to preserve lands and forests while enabling indigenous people in or near those forests to live as they wished to. We did this by asking ourselves a few questions. What's the best way to help poor people get access to affordable modern infrastructure while protecting the environment and respecting people's way of life? How can we help farmers increase the yields on their crops and build rural economies around them while making sure their children will also be able to have full rural livelihoods? And how can we do that while the threat of climate change grows clearer and stronger and threatens to undo the development achievements of previous decades? And how do we do that in the wake of the deepest financial crisis the world has seen in generations? Last year, we ramped up our work in all areas of sustainable development. We paid attention in particular to climate change. Why? Because we know that it's the poor in the developing countries who are the least prepared to deal with climate change, but they are the ones who will suffer the first and the most from it. Last year, almost 2/3 of all our new country strategies substantively addressed climate change. And at the global level, we did a lot of work to build understanding of the consequences of climate change. We issued a study on the economics of adaptation to climate change. This tells us that it will cost $75 to $100 billion a year between now and 2050 for developing countries to adapt to climate change. Very little of that financing is currently available. So, we worked to raise extra financing, and we have been successful in a number of areas. This part of the annual report website tells you what we've done. Our World Development Report from 2010 on development and climate change said that countries that produced most of the greenhouse gas emissions in the past need to act now if we are to mitigate against and adapt to a changing climate. They can do this by greatly increasing financing for adaptation and for mitigation in developing countries. As we work with our green growth agenda and as we struggled with responses to climate change, we're not alone. We work with many partners from civil society, the private sector, as well as with other multilateral development banks and bilateral development agencies. And we thank them for their cooperation. In the end, looking back, I'm pleased to say that we made a number of important strides forward. But I also need to say that we haven't done enough. Climate change may be the defining issue of this generation and for future generations as well. So we must get it right. Please take a look at our annual report with its facts and figures on our work and let us know how we're doing. Your views are important. We will listen. And I thank you for taking time to listen to me and to help us on this critical issue. Thank you.